Welcome in. You're watching the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. As always, thanks for rocking and rolling with us on another edition of the Lakers Report. And as always, we have another really good show cooked up for you today. Here's what we're covering. We'll get to the latest on Kyrie Irving. Is Darvin Ham still optimistic about Russell Westbrook, or is he lying about everything? Who are some of the other Lakers trade options? Is Carmelo Anthony gone? Because somebody took his number in the Las Vegas Summer League, one of the best events in the offseason NBA calendar. It's officially here. We'll pass along some Summer League news for Los Angeles. But we start off with the biggest storyline so far of the offseason for the Lake Show. That is Kyrie Irving. Nets, Lakers, trade talks continue, but it seems like Brooklyn, no rush to make any deals. Are they playing hardball? I'll explain my thoughts on that coming up right around the corner. First, we get to what Adrian Wojnarowski said about this situation. I think that's another consideration Brooklyn has to make about whether it's a positive or a negative to move Kyrie Irving either before Kevin Durant or after Kevin Durant. The market is certainly very different for Kevin Durant than it is for Kyrie Irving. Yeah, no shit, Woj. The Nets have talked with the Lakers, and I believe there has been back and forth, some communication. You look at where there's cap space right now, and a team like San Antonio could be a facilitator right now in, let's say, a Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving deal between the teams. They have the cap space. Now, you have to incentivize them at a pretty high level, and I think that's the willingness of the Lakers to incentivize a deal with multiple draft picks. I think that's part of the reason that the deal hasn't gone anywhere yet. Now, when you look at this from the Brooklyn point of view, I could see them playing hardball in this scenario. You look at Kevin Durant, and they have these conversations with him. KD, you're one of the best players of all time. You chose Brooklyn, and last offseason, you decided to sign a max contract extension, and over the next several years, you're under contract for the Brooklyn Nets. We are making these deals in free agency, bringing in Royce O'Neal via trade, signing TJ Warren, Patty Mills, bringing back Nick Claxton. We are making these moves because they make sense. These moves do. If you and Kyrie Irving are on the roster, you may have complained about the lack of depth last year because of overall roster building and just because of injuries as well. Well, going into this year, we have a deeper and a better roster. I could also see Kevin Durant playing a little hardball with the Brooklyn Nets, saying, look, if you don't give my boy, my homie Kyrie Irving, a long-term contract, I am going to request a trade. And until you give him that contract, I'm going to say that I want out of Brooklyn. Also, what's important here real quickly, it is San Antonio. They serve as a facilitator for this deal. They're trying to tank, I believe, for Victor Wembanyama, the really good big out of France. And Wembanyama, he outplayed Chet Holmgren in the U19 FIBA World Championships back in 2021. He has generational talent. And you look at all the moves that the Spurs have made. Are they setting themselves up to take Wembanyama? And are they trying to tank? And if they're trying to tank, tanking on Russell Westbrook's contract is a pretty viable move for San Antonio because they have to fulfill that cap space, and they could serve as a home for Russ with that expiring deal and that player option of $47 million. So it would be wise for Los Angeles to explore that, and it is something that we're going to continue to hover over and monitor. Rate Kyrie Irving as a player. I know a lot of you like to play NBA 2K, so use this to your advantage and scale Kyrie Irving on the NBA 2K scale from 1 to 100. Meanwhile, the elephant in the room, it is Russell Westbrook. Darvin Ham said at his introductory press conference, I love Russ. Can't wait to coach Russ. We're going to bring the best basketball out of him, and he continues to praise Russell Westbrook, who no doubt is a future Hall of Famer. Last couple of years, the numbers, the play, watching him hasn't been all that pretty. I'm just speaking facts. Russ will probably pop off at me on Twitter or social media if he sees the Lakers report. But here's what Darvin Ham had to say about Westbrook. Count it out prematurely. Count it out prematurely. I've had some great interactions with Russ in person, over dinner, over the phone, over text messages. I love Russ, man. Just his mentality, his approach, just to see him, a guy of that magnitude and everything he's done in the league to get hated on. But being me, I got a wholehearted plan, a clear plan on how I'm going to use him. I showed it to him, sat him down, brought stuff up for him. I think he's going to flourish. We ain't going to try to curtail the energy. We're just going to diversify it and redirect it. I don't know. I mean, if you want to look at this from a glass half full approach, you're going to look at it from the approach of, in Ham we trust. Are we trusting Darvin Ham that he can maximize Russell Westbrook and coach him in a way where his style and his intensity benefits the Lakers? Maybe. But his previous several coaches have also tried to do that with Russ. And I've always said this about him, his energy, his will to win, him wanting to be great. It's part of what makes Russell Westbrook one of the best competitors in the NBA. It's also what makes him a very frustrating player to watch because he's always going for the kill shot. Coaches have tried to change that. They have been unsuccessful in doing so. Can Darvin Ham be successful in doing so? If that's the case and he pulls this off, that right there, a hell of a coaching maneuver for the first-time head coach in the NBA. All things considered, who do you want? Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving? Let me know in the comment section right now. RW for Russ, KI for Kyrie. Taking all of your responses down below. Now, we're only getting started on today's Lakers report as we continue to just give you the best Lakers content on the entire internet. What other options are the Lakers exploring through the trade market? We'll get to that right around the bend. But first, hey, subscribe to the Lakers Report. Why? You see everything that we've been doing. Thomas Bryant signs. We pushed out a video. Summer League winners and losers. Updated Lakers trade targets. All you got to do is look at the numbers. A lot of people have been tuning into the show. Lakers free agency, top remaining guys who they could target. We literally do it all, so that's why you got to subscribe to the channel. And by the end of the week, our goal, 48,000 subs. We need 274 more. YouTube.com/LakersTV. Or tickle that red subscribe button down below. More from Woj here on some of the other deals that the Lakers have looked at with some marquee players, Eric Gordon as well as Buddy Hield. Woj saying this quote, "The Lakers, they've looked at other deals. They continued, I know, to check in on Eric Gordon in Houston. That's certainly a player that interests them. Buddy Hield in Indiana. The Lakers certainly are looking out at the marketplace, but there's no question Kyrie Irving, one of those big trade candidates." And if you look at Hield as well as Eric Gordon, them coming to Los Angeles, rocking that Lakers uniform that Lonnie Walker IV really excited to don as he had his introductory press conference as well. And he threatened opposing defenses saying, leave me open. I'm going to knock it down. Well, Lonnie, you've shot in the low 30 percentile from three-point range. If you can increase that, that's great. But what am I talking about here? I'm talking about shooting. So is Lonnie Walker going to cure the Lakers' shooting woes, or is it going to be a guy like Eric Gordon or Buddy Hield? Better options for sure. Buddy Hield with a lot of volume, high 30s. Eric Gordon last year, north of 40% from downtown. Both players would be good options to bring for this Lakers team if they have any hopes of competing in what is going to be a very deep Western Conference. You know what's deep? This selection of t-shirts and these prices, absolutely awesome. Some of these shirts right now, thanks to Fanatics, if you go to chatsports.com/Lakers t-shirt, as low as $5. Multiple styles if you want to rep the 17-time NBA champions. It was good to see, if you're a Lakers fan, the Celtics not winning the title because LA, Boston, still knotted up at 17 for the most titles in the history of this league. This shirt right here, definitely one that I would work out in. You saw the one that I was rocking the other week. That was fresh, not available here, but all of these styles are. Another championship shirt, and then the Lakers t-shirt combo, also included here. These have been flying off the shelves. You got the long sleeve for sometimes that bitter and cold early morning California weather, the short sleeve as well in that classic trademark purple. One more time, chatsports.com/Lakers t-shirt. That link available in the comment section and the description of this video. If you were hoping for a return for Carmelo Anthony, doesn't appear as though it's going to happen. And if he does come back, he's not going to have the same number. Rumors growing after the Lakers introduced signings so far with the media. And what do you know? Here it is. This is who? Who? Troy Brown Jr. rocking the number 7 right here. And he's taking Carmelo's number. So Carmelo rocked the 7 last year, looked really fresh in it, but it looks as though it is off the shelf. And look, let's be real here. If Carmelo doesn't come back, that's kind of a loss for the Lakers' depth as well as their bench production. It was a sneaky good year for Carmelo Anthony. Look at the numbers here to my right, 13-plus points per game, and for much of the year, he was right around 40% from beyond the arc. He was one of the best Lakers three-point shooters. You can look at that as a sad scenario and the reality of what the Lakers were trotting out there every single night, or you could just look at the games and say that Carmelo, even though he's been in the league for about 2 decades now, was playing really good hoops. So if you want the Lakers to re-sign Carmelo, we want to hear from you in the comment section. Melo Truthers, show up, show out, and speak your mind, and type Melo right now down below. This also coming from Brad Turner. The Lakers had free agent point guard Darren Collison in for a workout on Wednesday. Collison, 34, played in 3 games with the Lakers last year, does have interest in playing in the NBA this season. What's crazy? He was a good player for a little while, but he comes back last year kind of out of nowhere. Did he get bored? Did he need some cash? We've all been in that situation, but he was retired from 2019 to 2021. Comes back last year, plays a couple of games for the Lakers, and look, when a guy's retired for that long, outside of some of the greats in this league who have stepped away, it's really hard to come back and be an impact player. Michael Jordan, one of them, but that's like very small sample size right there. Another Summer League note that we want to get to on top of what we talked about yesterday when we went through our Summer League winners and losers. Max Christie, yikes. Warriors picked up Mac McClung from the Lakers Summer League squad. Last year he was signed to that 2-way deal, and against the Warriors on Saturday, actually, he dropped 17 points. He was the G League Rookie of the Year. California Classic numbers, 13 points per game, 3.5 rebounds. He shot 64% from the field. And I've said this a couple of times. Best case scenario down the road, he could carve out a role like maybe an Alex Caruso, even though the White Mamba, a much better defensive player. But Mac McClung, ever since being that high school highlight reel guy when he was playing his high school hoop in Virginia, goes to Georgetown, plays pretty well, goes to Texas Tech. He's able to flourish under Chris Beard. If he came out a year early, he may have been drafted. Was not drafted in 2021. Lakers pick him up, and he ends up having a pretty good G League stint. Now he's going to the Warriors. So oftentimes these players do flip back and forth between some of these rosters. As for the Vegas Summer League opener, it's a really cool setting in Las Vegas on the campus of UNLV. I went there a couple years ago, and I was staying just outside of Hollywood, and I went to the Las Vegas Summer League, and because it's a close drive away for all Laker fans who are in the Los Angeles area, up and down the coast of California, even in Las Vegas, so many purple and gold shirts and jerseys are out there. It's going to be the same thing when the Lakers take on the Phoenix Suns because they want to see what these young Bulls got. So Vegas Summer League opener Friday, July 8th, 7 o'clock Pacific time. Lakers take on the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to be watching. You going to be watching? Let me know. Any thoughts you have about the Summer League, let me know in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching today's show.